Resilience is not about bouncing back quickly. It's about what you do in the gap between something going wrong and deciding what happens next. Now, that gap is where your emotional health either holds you or fails you. Thank you for listening to Routine is Revenue. This is your place to build routines and bank results. I'm Ildikó Sealey, a routine and performance strategist. And I help business owners build the emotional foundation that holds when the business gets difficult, because it will. So this episode is for you. If setbacks tend to cost you more time and energy than they probably should, if you are already building genuine resilience rather than just pushing through, let's get on with it. In this routine reset, we look at resilience under pressure. If you have not already, please hit follow or subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Right, resilience under pressure is an emotional practice that allows you to respond to difficulty, to failure, and to setbacks with steadiness rather than spiral. It also helps you to recover quickly enough so that one bad day does not become a bad week. Every single business owner faces moments when something goes wrong. A client leaves. A launch falls flat. A decision turns out to be the wrong one. A relationship breaks down, and the list goes on. The thing is, these are not even rare exceptions. They are the ordinary texture of building a business. But what separates the owners who sustain their businesses from those who struggle is not the absence of these moments, but how long they stay in them. Because when unmanaged, these setbacks can trigger a familiar pattern. The replaying, the self-criticism, the catastrophizing about what it means for the future. And that loop, that is expensive. Not just emotionally, you see, but also cognitively. Every single hour you spend in that loop is an hour not spent finding your next move. So resilience is not simply about coping. It actually protects your decision quality. It protects your leadership, and ultimately, it protects your business performance. As we covered in Routine Reset 7 on emotional literacy, naming what you are feeling is the first step to regaining choice. You cannot navigate a setback from inside a spiral. You need to interrupt it, you need to name it, and then redirect it. The business owners I work with who handle difficulty best have one thing in common. They have stopped dwelling. They've simply decided, consciously or otherwise, that what happens next matters more than what just happened. Now, resilience under pressure works through three practices: honest acknowledgement, deliberate time limiting, and a forward-facing question. So let's go through them one by one. Honest acknowledgement means allowing yourself to feel what's there. Not performing positivity, not immediately reframing, just naming it that this is hard. This did not go as I wanted. That act matters, because skipping this step does not build resilience. What you end up doing is just storing emotions for later. The next one is time limiting, means that deciding how long you will stay with the difficulty before you redirect it. Note that this is not suppression, it is structure. And it means that you're giving yourself today to feel it and deciding that tomorrow you look for what is next. And the decision, made deliberately, changes what the setbacks cost you. And thirdly, the forward-facing question, and that is, what does this make possible? Not always straight away. Sometimes it takes weeks to see it. But often, the beauty of a setback is that it often clears space for something you would not have reacted otherwise. As we covered with mindset conditioning in Routine Reset 11, what you direct your attention towards grows. So once you have felt it and time limited it, you point your attention at what just opened up instead of what just closed. And that is the skill. And like any skill, it gets easier with practice. Now, one of the most significant changes in my life came directly from losing a job. It wasn't my choice, obviously. It was someone else's decision, made for reasons that at the time felt completely unjust. But what happened was that it sent me into despair for a few weeks, like real despair. Depression felt for the first time, and I felt it real deep. And then something shifted because I needed momentum. I started working through what my life actually looked like and what I wanted from it. And what followed that loss was, in almost every single measurable way, better than what preceded it. Now, since then, I have a rule I live by. I do not dwell on things for more than a day. Since then, I deeply believe that everything happens for a reason. I genuinely believe that this is not naive optimism, but for me, it's an evidence based belief. And that belief is part of what allows me to recover quickly and keep building. And that is my resilience. What is yours? What if your current pattern continues? Something goes wrong, as it will, and you spend days or weeks in the replay. That energy that could go into the next move goes into processing the last one. And that gap between setback and recovery stays quite wide. Now, over time, this doesn't just cost you time, it will cost you the willingness to take the risk that growth requires. That willingness diminishes when the emotional cost of things not working is consistently high. So you see, resilience is not about feeling less. It's about recovering faster. But here's the good news. That recovery is a trainable skill. So when do you build your resilience? Well, I would say try and build it before you need it. Not after the next difficult period, but right now. Because the practices that make you resilient under pressure are the same ones that will make you steady on an ordinary day. Now, does this sound like a pattern you have lived through more than once? Well, if yes, your next step is very simple. Just visit routinerevolution.co.uk, where you can find out more about building good health routines into your life that will form part of your business infrastructure. And via the website, you can also book a discovery call just to explore what has come into focus and how to expand on that. But for now, feel it and name it, and then decide what happens next. But please remember, the healthier you makes a wealthier you.